Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of our Smart Investing Weekly Stock Analysis, where we break down and discuss prevalent stocks in the media that are getting kind of the hype around it. Sometimes it might be a buy, sometimes it might be a sell, sometimes it might say, what the heck is going on, and stay away for sure. So this episode, always, if you find these intriguing, be sure to hit that subscribe button below so you can follow us for future episodes as well. Like I say, this episode, we're going to do it a little bit different. Most of the time we kind of break down the fundamentals, but there's just craze going on with this Rivian stock, and there's no data, so we can't break it down. So we're going to speak more conceptually about what in the world is going on with this automaker company, Rivian Automotive. Ticker symbol is RIVN.
Jason, I've seen companies like this before, my 40 years of doing this, and everybody thinks this is going to be the next thing and so forth. But with no fundamentals, that's why we're not looking at fundamentals. The company doesn't have, I think they had, was it $1 million in sales? Something kind of silly.
Oh, I got lots of good numbers for our listeners.
Oh, we do have some good numbers. Well,
it's not the traditional numbers, but just kind of for comparison purposes.
Because it's just, you have a company here that this is the ultimate hype. And we've talked about different things about this other company or this other fund, set up a fund of sneakers going for $1.5 million. This is just contributing to the hype of the market. And this is where investors start getting burned because they're doing silly things. This company has no earnings, very low sales, if any sales. I think you're going to give us those numbers. It makes no sense to invest in this. And I kind of know to speak for a minute here, because I just want to compare this to like a company like Honda. Everybody loves Hondas. They got a great reputation. I mean, that stock has been around for, well, I think since 2007 when public. Over the last 10 years, the stock hasn't moved that much. The earnings have been about $53 billion, earnings, not sales, over that time frame. They've paid about $9.58 in dividends. About 4.8% is the current dividend. Here's the fundamentals on the company. That's a great car company. Why would anybody risk their money on a company like Rivian based on the future? And I could see maybe $10, $20, but $125, I think it closed out today. I'm sorry. You're go to Vegas, have fun, get some free drinks.
I'm going to throw something out there. People,
Sure.
I think, know how much we question Tesla's valuation. Mm-hmm. I think this stock is crazier than Tesla.
At least Tesla has Elon Musk, right?
Yeah. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to talk this. The stock, I think, IPO'd around $75 a share, I think is what it was. And then first day, it opened at 106. Very important to point out. Don't think that, oh, I missed a huge opportunity there. Again, the first trade on the market is normally what the average person is going to buy into it at. Right now, it's at about $129 a share. This is why I think it is just absolutely crazy. The market cap is now around $130 billion. And I'll talk more about the numbers here, but just for comparison's sakes, the market cap for GM at this time, let me see if I can find this. Gosh, it is absolutely insane. The market cap for GM, I believe, is somewhere under $80 billion, and Ford is even less than GM's market cap. So this company's worth more than GM and Ford. It makes no sense. I mean, it's ludicrous.
Yeah, and this is, you're right, it's ludicrous. This is why people say the stock market's risky, because right now it's great. Like, oh, wow, look at, I bought it at 105. Now it's 129. I'm making money. Wow, this is going to go to $1,000 by, next year for 10 years. I'm sorry, people. That is not going to happen. We've seen this happen over and over again with companies. The reason why this is happening, there is so much money in the economy. You're not concerned about your money because it just keeps coming in. It comes in like, oh, let's gamble, let's risk it. And let's point out, people say the higher the risk, the higher return. At our firm, we don't say that. We say the higher the risk, the more likely the loss.
Yeah. And I will say I was wrong. GM's market cap is about 90 billion. Ford is about 80 billion. So off by about 10 billion.
I think they both went up a little bit over the last couple of days.
Yeah, they both gone up over the last couple of days, but still way below Rivian at 130 billion. But let me give you some numbers here. And you kind of talked about this briefly, about their lack of sales, lack of deliveries. As of October 31st, the company had produced 180 of their trucks and delivered 156 of their trucks, again, as of the end of the last month. Nearly all of these vehicles were delivered to Rivian employees. So they haven't really made much of an impact in terms of hitting the real market yet. And to hit that type of market cap without hitting that, I mean, it baffles me. And I mean, the other thing you look at is they are looking at releasing a new SUV as well. So they have two vehicles that are, oh, okay, very, very exciting. And they have accepted pre-orders for approximately 55,400 R1 vehicles in the US and Canada, which it expects to fill by the end of 2023. It's like, wow, so that's really exciting, right? Again, I already talked about Ford. What about that F-150 Lightning, right? That's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
They had 150,000 pre-orders just for the F-150 Lightning, not the rest of the vehicles that they'll sell. And yet this is getting way bit above what the value of Ford is. That makes absolutely no sense. And coming back to the kind of production of this company so far, right now they plan to produce approximately 1,200 R1Ts, that's their trucks, and 25 R1Ss, that's their SUVs, and deliver approximately 1,015 vehicles by the end of this year.
Well, that's better than I thought. I thought it was going to be for the entire year. So, and we don't know enough about this company on the manufacturing, where they're doing it and so forth. But to go, you have, okay, well, hold on to that then. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Got that. But these are things you want to kind of look at. But how are they going to meet these numbers? I mean, that's great. 1,200 vehicles by, I think you said, the end of the year. Okay, all right. So they're making some ground over here. But is the stock worth $129 a share? No, I mean, there's no way. And this is where people get burned. And we've talked about this over and over again. And we're doing this one because I know there's people out there. And I will say, if you want to risk money and gamble it, by all means, go buy a share, go buy 100 shares, whatever it is. But do not think you're investing. You are strictly gambling here.
Yeah, and I mean, I did want to say the other thing that I did want to bring up too, just the competition in this field is crazy. I mean, personally, I talked about the F-150 Lightning. I like the GMC Hummer way more. I think that is the coolest vehicle, EV vehicle coming onto the market. People might disagree with me, but there's still competition is the main point. So it's not like they're the only company that has an electric truck that's coming out. And it's not like they're way ahead of the curve either, because as I said, a lot of their deliveries aren't expected to be fulfilled until the end of 2023, which will have other competition by that point. But I did want to bring up another fact about their manufacturing. Kind of talked about that. Their manufacturing outfit is actually in Normal, Illinois, and is currently equipped to produce about 150,000 vehicles annually.
150,000 annually?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, that must be some facility.
Well, but let me again give you some comparison.
Yes.
That might sound like a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
GM sold around 6.8 million vehicles in 2020, and Ford sold around 4.2 million vehicles in 2020. When are they going to be on par with GM and Ford to justify a market cap higher than these companies? I mean, it's going to take years of capital expenditures, great marketing, great new vehicles to get on the same level as these established automakers. And again, it's not like Ford and GM aren't competing in this new space.
Right. And there's been other electric vehicle companies that came out. I know one came out by a SPAC. I forget their name. That didn't do very well.
Oh, Nikola.
Yeah, that was one.
Lordstown's another one that's struggling. Because they're starting to miss dates of when they're delivering vehicles.
Oh, this company won't do that. Rivian does that every day. But I mean, you have so much competition, but there's going to be more companies. I think you said 2023. Do you think there's not going to be more electric vehicle companies coming out between now and then? Of course there will be. Why somebody would pay $129 for this stock? Well, the greater fool theory. You bought it at a high price as a fool. You're hoping there's a greater fool out there than you to buy it. I know some people can take offense to that, but I'm sorry. It's an actual theory in the books, and you have nothing on here. One that came to mind from years ago was a company called GoPro. I think that was up to $40 a share, and how great it was, and it's going to do this. Last time I looked at it, I think it was on $6 or $8 a share, and I could be a little bit more than that. I don't know, but still, if you paid $40 for it, you're still down probably 80%.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And the other thing I wanted to bring up that people might be saying, well, but the Amazon connection that they have.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I keep hearing, the hype. And this is interesting. I have some more numbers for our viewers. I'm sure they love the numbers. But I
Can
was
we
going to
just go back
say
to the Amazon? Because Amazon, the connection was, I think they are going to buy, was it 100,000 vehicles?
two
So,
major connections that I was going to bring up. Yeah,
go,
the
okay,
amount
go
of
ahead.
vehicles, but also too, Amazon owns a 22.4% stake in Rivian. And also we talked about Ford. Ford owns a 14.4% stake in Rivian. So it's kind of good and bad, I would say, that these companies have that much. The good side is if they're in it for the long term, let's say, they're not going to put those shares out there as, traditional float where other people are going to be trying to buy it and reducing the potential stock price. But if they start to try and sell those shares, now that's where the stock price could falter. They're like, whoa, this company's not worth that. That could drive the stock price lower quite quickly, having over 30% in terms of between those two companies.
I don't see Amazon selling their shares, but I think Ford could be a good possibility that they would sell their shares.
Yeah.
And
And
it'll be over time. Yeah.
yeah. And I did want to address what you were saying about the Amazon order. So Amazon has ordered 100,000 of Rivian's upcoming electric delivery van. So they have 3 vehicles in the pipeline right now, or pretty darn near production. I mentioned the SUV, the truck, and also the commercial vehicle that they have. As I said, the 100,000 vehicles that Amazon has ordered, but get this, estimated to be delivered by 2030.
Oh, wait a minute. That's 9 years, 8 years away. Will be nice. So yeah, and I was gonna say too, smart for Amazon, because if I ordered 100,000 vehicles, I want to see how they perform. I mean, these vehicles come out. I mean, you got 150 employees have them. They could be terrible. They could have battery issues. They could be breaking down. Um, you know, I hope we warn people enough. And again, if you want to play the game,
And I hate to drag it out, but I want to bring up one more thing about the competition. They're not the only people in this space either. Don't forget that GM has their Bright Drop unit. They delivered about 500 vehicles, or they are delivering 500 vehicles to FedEx by the end of this year.
oh,
So what if GM gets a stronghold on the market before Rivian can kind of catch hold? And FedEx loves what GM has to offer in terms of their commercial vans. Could be a problem. Again, they're not the only ones in their space, which is just crazy.
here again, you can buy Rivian at we'll call it 130, or GM at half that price, around 60.
No.
I know which way I would go.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I did a lot of talking today, but I had all these numbers that I couldn't resist sharing.
No, that's fine. That's what we try to do, is try to help educate people. We didn't have a lot of numbers for you today, but try to help you understand what's going on. And again, if you want to be risky, go ahead and buy the shares. But if you're really trying to invest and build your wealth over the long term, don't buy the Rivian. Stay away from it.
I saw this quote the other day. I forget who said it, but he says, "I don't try and get rich quick. I try and get rich for sure."
Oh, I like that one.
And rather than trying to gamble, it's like if you do the right investments over time, you're gonna become wealthy. I always say getting rich quick is much different than growing your wealth. So that's what we try and do here on the Smart Investing Weekly Stock Analysis, is find good stocks that are going to be stable and grow your wealth over time, rather than try and gamble and get you rich quick, which many times doesn't lead to great success.
Well, Chase, I hope we save somebody some money today over the next 10 years. What do you think?
I hope so. So with that, if you enjoyed this Smart Investing Weekly Stock Analysis, be sure to hit that subscribe button below so you can follow us for future videos. Also visit our page, see other videos that we've done in the past. This video, though, is not for it's for informational purposes only, and should not be used as stock advice or financial advice. Be sure to contact a financial professional before actually enacting any financial advice there. Again, thanks for the time, and we'll see you next week.
All right.